Tonight on the Northwestern News Report.
Women march on Washington in nearly 600 other cities around the globe.
The Northwestern Theater Department trades the spotlight for a ghost light.
And we'll look at how some Northwestern research shows the difference between crimes in big and small cities.
All those stories and more.
Coming up on the Northwestern News Report, it's your news right now.
Don't take what you do today and don't let it end. Take it home. Run for office yourself. Get out there and be those voices. Be that change that you want to see in the world.
Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth and other congresswomen took to the stage at the Women's March on Washington Saturday. We'll hear more from the Women's March on Chicago later in the show. Good evening and welcome to the Northwestern News Report. I'm Isabel Lawrence.
And I'm Eric Miller. Thank you very much for joining us.
Donald Trump officially became the 45th president of the United States this week. He starts his term with a 45% approval rating, according to Gallup. This rating is the lowest initial performance rating in 6 decades.
In his inaugural address, Trump promised that his presidency will be about putting, quote, America first. Now, nearly 70 Democratic members of Congress, including 4 Illinois representatives, announced they would not attend the inauguration ceremony. Illinois Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky says she decided to boycott the inauguration after hearing from her supporters.
I heard from literally thousands of people who have been really offended by, hurt by, frightened by Donald Trump. And felt that going to what is essentially a celebration of his becoming president was not what they wanted their representative to do.
And since his inauguration, Trump has already signed executive orders moving to reverse many of former President Obama's accomplishments. This includes setting in motion the repeal of Obamacare, reviving construction of the Dakota Access and Keystone XL oil pipelines, and removing the U.S. from the Trans-Pacific Partnership Trade Pact. For more on Trump's inauguration and first week, tune into Politicat this Thursday.
On President Trump's first full day in office, an estimated 500,000 people participated in the Women's March on Washington to advocate for women's rights. Other cities around the country joined in with protests of their own. NNN's Bria Kalpin was at the Women's March in Chicago.
According to officials, the march in Chicago brought together more than 250,000 supporters, nearly 7 times the expected number. People marched for issues like reproductive rights, equal pay, and intersectional feminism in response to Donald Trump's inauguration. I went downtown to hear more from organizers and participants. Connect, protect, activate. These 3 words brought millions of people together to march in support of women's rights. Women's marches took place in D.C., San Francisco, Chicago, and nearly 600 other cities across the globe Saturday in reaction to President Donald Trump's inauguration the day before. Liz Radford, co-chair of the Chicago March, says the outrage caused by Trump's behavior is what inspired so many people to participate.
Clearly, the rhetoric, the actions, the threat to rights has affected people on a deep level, so they're motivated to get out of their house on a rainy day, come out and come together, meet each other, talk about how we can forward our rights in the years coming forward.
The effects of Trump's words were fully demonstrated by the massive crowd that gathered near Grant Park to show their support. One of those supporters, Betsy Van Etten, says her activism shows that she and millions of other citizens will not be silenced by the outcome of the election.
This is America, and just because the Electoral College voted this new president in, there were 3 million more people who didn't, and we are not going to be quiet.
For many people marching here today, this movement isn't just a protest about what's happening in the present, but a message of hope for the future. The Hayes family was a model of that hope. 4 generations of Hayes women drove from Peoria, Illinois to be an example of how the older generations must inspire the young to lead and stand up against inequality.
I've raised my daughter, my granddaughter, to know that no, we can do anything, we will do anything, and no one will talk to you that way.
Women were not the only ones in attendance to the march. Many men, including marcher Tim Gunnell, marched down Jackson Drive to show their support and solidarity.
Everybody needs to come together. It doesn't matter your color, doesn't matter your gender, doesn't matter if you have a gender, doesn't matter if you identify with a color or a race. None of that matters. What matters is love.
On February 1st, Northwestern's Women's Center will host #After the March to continue conversations about how to remain active in the fight for women's rights. Bria Kalpin, Northwestern News Report.
The Women's March on Chicago wasn't the only demonstration going on this week. Theaters around the country joined together in an illuminating protest. I took a closer look here on campus. Thursday night, that was the sound emanating from the Virginia Wadsworth Wirt Center for the Performing Arts here at Northwestern. Several hundred members of the NU community gathered together to stand for, quote, the values of inclusion, participation, and compassion for everyone.
The light that we will create tonight will represent our ongoing commitment to safeguard.
Participants, mostly members of the Northwestern theater community, sang of peace and harmony before illuminating the lobby of the Wirt Center with hundreds of flashlights. Shortly afterwards, Collins and the theater department lit a ghost light.
So we leave a ghost light on to keep us safe, and metaphorically, to inspire us.
For students like Caroline Scott, the Ghost Light Project is about more than just protesting.
It just felt like a moment where we were all taking time to come together and, ideally use theater to help.
After the light was lit, students and faculty broke into a chorus of This Little Light of Mine as they filed their way down to the paint shop in the back of the theater. There, students and faculty took turns doing a dramatic reading of the United States Constitution from start to finish.
Dropping a beat for the preamble, it was kind of, like stepping and stomping. It was trying to get us all to do it, and he made it into a call and response. It was fun. It was a really fun way to do it.
And this won't be the last gathering. Collins said students and faculty will come together at the Ghost Light every third Thursday of the month to promote inclusion and acceptance at Northwestern and around the country. Northwestern's theater department was just one of more than 700 schools and theaters, including those on Broadway, to participate in the event.
Coming up, find out what Northwestern published in their first annual sexual misconduct report. Plus,
I'm Aaron Lewis, and when we come back, I'll bring you the latest weather updates in the 5-day weather forecast.
At Northwestern, we're wildcats in every way.
Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
We will be starting off with our weather for Wednesday. Wednesday has a forecasted high of 42 degrees and a low of 32 degrees, accompanied by a light rain. After that, things are going to start cooling down to those familiar January temperatures with cloudy days ahead. On Thursday, the high is 35 degrees with a low of 23 degrees. After that, we'll see high of 28 degrees and a low of 21 degrees on Friday. Saturday is just a tad bit warmer but still cloudy with a high of 29 degrees and a low of 21 degrees. And Sunday will have a high of 27 degrees and a low of 21 degrees. This is Aaron Lewis with your 5-day weather forecast.
Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky gathered with residents on Wednesday for a community action meeting. They discussed what's next for Democrats during President Trump's administration. NNN's Andy Weir was there.
There was a call to action for these Evanston residents Wednesday night. They met at Evanston Space to pave a plan for local Democrats going forward with Donald Trump now in the White House. Dr. Gilo Quessy delivered opening remarks, then moderated a panel featuring U.S. Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky, Illinois State Senator Daniel Biss, Northwestern Professor Peter Slevin, and Executive Director of the American Civil Liberties Union of Illinois, Colleen Connell. As the night drew to a close, the four took questions from the audience about community involvement and political activism. Event organizer Tracy Iyer coordinated the event.
I first just felt like a big group hug for my community, my family, my friends, and it just kind of morphed into let's address the issues that got us here and what do we do moving forward.
Event organizers encouraged attendees to not just limit their political participation to voting, but to instead demand change at all levels of government. Attendee Mark Lindsay says the advice is a refreshing change of pace.
All these people came together to hear about something that they can do to make a difference in the world, and that's something that seems like it's been lacking for a while.
Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky, who skipped President Trump's inauguration, emphasized the importance of Democrats working together in the years ahead.
It's when people get together on collective action that we can actually make the change. Look, the Tea Party had been very influential in at least blocking, if not making policy in the Congress, and we have more people than they do.
While tonight's event is wrapping up, for many in this room, their fight has only just begun. Andy Weir, Northwestern News Report.
In an effort to be more transparent to the community, Northwestern released its first annual sexual misconduct report last month. NNN's Caitlin Boudreau has more on what the report means for students.
Exactly 179 Northwestern students filed sexual misconduct complaints last school year. That's according to a report released in December by university officials. The report is the first of its kind, numerically breaking down reported cases of sexual misconduct as a part of the university's commitment to increase transparency. Amanda Odaz, Community Outreach Chair for Student Health and Assault Peer Educators, says she is pleased with these new efforts.
I think it's a really important accountability step for the university. So it's a way for them to kind of put their money where their mouth is and go beyond just saying that they support survivors to actually providing direct evidence.
Of all reports filed against students last year, the report found 32% of complainants chose not to proceed with formal or informal resolution. A total of 17 cases were formally resolved last year. Exactly 7 of those cases resulted in expulsion, while 3 cases found respondents not responsible. Of the remaining cases, 6 respondents were put on disciplinary probation and 1 was suspended. Northwestern Title IX coordinator Joan Slavin said in a statement to NNN, quote, "It is my hope that sharing the data will raise awareness about how reports of sexual misconduct are handled at Northwestern and continue to build trust in our complaint resolution process." While student activists welcome the report, Dan Luizzo, president of Men Against Rape and Sexual Assault, says he would like to see the university do more to combat sexual misconduct.
There's always going to be room for improvement, and that's something the university still needs to continue working on until every single student doesn't have to face their perpetrator in a class, in a dorm. Not enough is being done.
Caitlin Boudreau, Northwestern News Report.
The university will publish more of these reports annually as part of its ongoing commitment to fight sexual misconduct. You can read the report and our breakdown of it on our website at nnnTV.org.
Up next on Money Minute, why the underemployment of immigrants may be costing you.
At Northwestern, we're wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
I'm Matt Dunn, and in this week's Money Minute, the steep cost of not adequately employing the nation's immigrants. During this past election cycle, we heard a lot of political rhetoric about immigrants taking American jobs. In this week's Money Minute, we investigate almost the opposite phenomenon. We look into the steep cost to the American economy of highly skilled immigrants not receiving jobs in America that match their true skill set. According to a December report from the Migration Policy Institute, nearly 1.5 million college-educated immigrants were employed in low-skilled positions in the United States between 2009 and 2013. Now, if those immigrants had been able to work in middle or highly skilled jobs, they would have collectively earned about $40 billion more per year. That translates into a loss to the American economy of just over $10 billion in federal, state, and local taxes not collected. The Migration Policy Institute says language barriers, visa issues, and cultural clashes prevent highly skilled immigrants from meeting their full employment potential in the United States. The report also says there is a false perception that foreign degrees and work experience are not equal to U.S.-based degrees or experience. Overall, the U.S. has seen a sharp spike in highly educated immigrants coming to the United States. Between 2011 and 2015, just under 50% of arrivals to the United States were college graduates. That's compared to just over 30% before the recession. Some cities like St. Louis, Cincinnati, Detroit, and Pittsburgh have begun to establish programs to recognize the full employment potential of immigrants. With Money Minute, I'm Matt Dunn.
A year after its launch, the Northwestern Mentorship program has thousands of registered students and alumni. NNN's Nikki Kaplan takes an inside look at how this program connects mentors and mentees online.
The program's online platform allows students and alumni to create profiles and search a database for connections within similar fields and industries. Senior Associate Director of Career Advancement at the Northwestern Alumni Association, Ben Hancock, says the program's aim is to reconnect with alumni.
To do for the mentorship program is really find a means for reaching a global alumni student population.
Hancock says the abundance of registered alumni shows the strength of the Northwestern community.
I think it really speaks to the Northwestern network, the community that's in place. That's something that we try to encourage students to definitely keep in mind, that there are that many alumni who are willing to support their career professional developments.
For current students, the program can be useful for a variety of reasons, such as networking and receiving career advice. Carlos Bilardi, a sophomore computer science major, says his mentor has helped him prepare for an employment process, which at first had been very unfamiliar.
I don't really know what I'm doing, so I've basically just been looking for someone to not even guide me, just tell me what I should do.
Jamie Joanne Waldorf, a junior theater major, says the program provides networking opportunities that are critical to her chosen field.
The theater major and industry in particular is just one that lends itself to kind of having to know people and knowing things on the job, so you can learn as much in the classroom as you can, but then there are limitations to that.
Hancock says, looking to the future, the mentorship program is in it for the long haul.
Something that we really want to definitely promote and let alumni students know that it's something they can participate in for life.
Nikki Kaplan, Northwestern News Report.
Northwestern students can sign up and connect with a mentor on the Northwestern Alumni Association website.
Law enforcement agencies are always looking for new ways to fight crime. New research sheds light on the differences between how to battle it in big and small cities. NNN's tech reporter Andrew Marica is in Studio B tonight with more.
Thanks, Eric. It seems like in big cities, there's more of everything, right? More buildings, more stores, more homelessness, and yes, more crimes. When you have a lot of people in the same place, that's just what happens. But why? Two researchers at Northwestern are trying to figure that out.
When most people study crime, they usually look at a neighborhood and ask what's the race and ethnicity composition, ask what's the income, what's the education. What we're doing, looking cross-city comparison, is assuming even though we have the same people with the same background, merely being big, I have a higher risk of crime.
Northwestern PhD candidate Vicki Yang and Professor Danny Abrams have been working for the last 3 years to figure out how and why big cities are more productive.
It turns out that when you double city size, you more than double human productivity by many different measures.
While most measures of productivity scale easily,
more inventions, more contagious disease like AIDS cases,
crime is an outlier.
You double city size, you'll drastically much more than double the number of car thefts. What was not super linear at all were crimes that are typically committed by individuals alone, things like rape.
What it comes down to is actually very simple. In a big city, you're more likely to meet people.
If you come from a small town and you stay there, you may not know as many unique people or have as many opportunities to meet new people who could be potential partners in crime.
Abrams and Yang hope that their research can provide better tools to recognize how certain types of crime affect different sized cities and how to prevent it.
The question is, how big can those cities get? How big should they get? This research is suggesting that what makes cities good places to live in the first place, for all the human interactions, all the productivity coming out of it, is inevitably associated with the negative aspects. I hope this research would encourage people to think twice about city size and how big cities can actually become.
Abrams and Yang have been conducting their research with Yale University professor Andrew Papachristos. They hope to publish in a few weeks. Back to you.
And still ahead tonight, we'll look at how the Cats are doing on the court.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that with our colors flying we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Welcome back. We're joined now by Sports Night's Evan Denton.
Now, Evan, it was a busy week for the Cats in sports.
That's right, Eric. What a time to be a Wildcat sports fan, especially basketball. The men's team has been the Cinderella story of the Big Ten thus far into the season. The Cats currently own a 15-4 record and are on a 3-game winning streak. But could they crunch the Ohio State Buckeyes? Let's take a look. Early on, it would be Gavin Skelly finding a wide-open Vic Law who misses the three, but gets his own rebound and gets the layup to go. A little bit later now, freshman Isaiah Brown uses the Sanjay Lumpkin screen and drives by 2 defenders and gets this tough layup to go. What a shot. Under 8 minutes to go in the half, Vic Law scoops up the loose ball. He's going to go coast to coast against 3 defenders, and he makes the layup. Under 2 minutes to go, Skelly fires a perfect backdoor pass to Sky Lindsey, who finishes the layup. Cats lead 36-31 at the break. Second half now, Lumpkin swings it over to Law in the corner, who drives to the middle and finds a wide-open Brian McIntosh for the 3, and splash, Cats up 3. Working the clock down now, Brown squeezes in a tough pass to Derek Parton, who throws it down with authority. Oh yeah. Now with under 4 minutes to play, Brown goes one-on-one with the defender, drives, and somehow gets the shot to go. And the Cats would hold on to win 74-72 over the Buckeyes. Here's what Sky Lindsey had to say after the game.
Everyone is invested in their role. We, assigned our roles, right before the season, right before everything got going, and everyone has accepted their role and invested and tried to star in their role. And I think that's another reason why we're a good team. We wanted this win really bad, and they haven't beaten Ohio State yet, so this was the one that we really want to get.
With the win, the Cats got their first win in Columbus since 1977. It's a pretty long time. The next men's home game is this Thursday against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. But not to be outdone, the women's basketball team has also been taking care of business on the court, and they welcomed the Michigan State Spartans to Welsh Ryan. Let's see how they did. I think Willie is ready for the game. Early on, Nia Coffey finds a wide-open Amber Jameson for 3, and she connects. It's good. Michigan State wouldn't go away, though. Senior Tori Jankowska banks in the 3, but the Cats would lead 37-36 at the half. Second half now, Ashley Deering doing what she does. She gets the steal and strolls on in for the easy breakaway layup. What a player. And finally, Lauren Douglas finds Jamison for yet another three, and the Cats would hold on to win 76-65. It was a successful weekend for the Cats, and both teams are looking to carry their momentum through to the next games.
That's right. What a weekend for the Cats once again. Thank you, Evan, for joining us.
And when we come back, we'll look at why in one of his last acts as president, Barack Obama honored 4 Northwestern professors.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Last week, former President Obama announced 4 Northwestern professors will be awarded the highest honor for science and engineering researchers at the start of their careers. NNN's Isabella Zhao talked to some of the honorees.
Former President Obama announced Eric Dahl, Dana Friedman, T. David Harris, and Sinan Ketten are the recipients of the Presidential Early Career Award for Scientists and Engineers. This is the highest honor bestowed by the United States government on science and engineering professionals in the early stages of their independent research careers. Chemistry professor Dana Friedman says Northwestern did well, claiming 4 of the 102 awards across the country.
So Northwestern has done a tremendous job with 4 people receiving this award this year, which is just amazing and a real credit to the university.
Dahl, Friedman, Harris, and Ketten are doing research in physics, chemistry, and mechanical engineering. They were chosen through competitive selections from federal agencies' recommendations. Physics professor Eric Dahl says he appreciates being recognized for his work.
The number of people working on this is huge, and then to be one of the 100 that get this award this year I can't quite wrap my mind around it, actually.
Friedman says the award is an honor not just for herself, but for her entire research team.
Any award that recognizes me implicitly recognizes my graduate students too, because they're the ones who actually do the work. They do the synthesis in lab. They discover new compounds and materials. And so they really deserve a lot of the credit and the pride, and I think that they feel that.
Isabella Zhao, Northwestern News Report.
And that's all the time we have tonight. I'm Eric Miller.
And I'm Evan Denton for Sports.
And I'm Isabel Lawrence. Good night.